Welcome to a brand new episode of Johnson Score. Today I'm super excited to be with you guys. This is a late one, but sometimes you got duties you got to do before the podcast, and here we are, ladies and gentlemen. But don't worry, like I said, I'm going to get you the episode out. Come back each week, for the picks, see who's in first, second, and third. But I can say last week was a doozy. Last week was not good for any of us, and funny enough, Nick had his worst week. Nick went 6-8. Beagle had an even 500 at 7-7, and then I had the best record at 8-6. Now, not a lot of good records, like I said, but 6-8 hopefully is the worst record that Nick has this entire year. Going 7-7 for Beagle, you're still 500, so it's not bad, but still 7 losses. Like, that's crazy. Our least amount of losses was 6. Normally, if I'm looking here, 5 or 3 was our least. So that's what I'm saying. So just kind of crazy. But each week in the NFL, it does be like that. Well, welcome to week 6. I'm super excited to have you here. Nick and Beagle have both given me their picks, and I will give my pick as well. So let's dive right into it. Let's see who can go. Let's see how many games we have. We have 15. Who can go 15-0? Well, to start out the week, it is the Eagles playing the New York Giants. The New York Giants are at home for this one. Hopefully no injuries happen. Knock on wood. But, injuries do happen. That's why it is the next man up mentality. But, I'm going to go Eagles here because they're a better team. They're a well-seasoned team. They know how to make a Super Bowl. They know how to make wins. And I think this is the game A.J. Brown does kind of get back in to the flow of the offense. I really do think so. Nick thinks so as well, and so does Beagle. So let's see if we can all start off 1-0. Then we've got a game at 9:30 in the morning. I believe this one is... Oh, give me a second. This one is in London. So another London game, which is really, really cool, guys. Oh, sorry about that. It is the Broncos versus the Jets. Now, the Jets aren't playing too hot right now. They've just kind of been a dumpster fire organization for a very long time. And I think we're going to stay like that. And I think the Broncos are going to get the win overseas, and they will come back with a dub. Broncos are playing very well. They're one of the best teams in the AFC right now. Nick thinks the Broncos are going to win, and so does Beagle. Then you get to your regular scheduled games at 1 o'clock on Sunday. The first matchup we have is the Seahawks versus the Jaguars. Seahawks fans are probably not used to playing at 1 o'clock because they're all the way on the West Coast. So this will be a definitely different type of game for them. But, this is the Jags who beat the Chiefs last week on Monday Night Football, who are capable of being good. They are 4-1. The Seahawks are very good as well. But, this is going to be a really, close game, I feel like. Closer than a lot of people think. But honestly, this week... let's go the Jags. Beagle went the Jags. I'm going to go the Jags. Cam went the Jags. So, let's just all go to Jags. But Nick thinks otherwise. He's going to go to the Seahawks. So he thinks the Seahawks can get a dub on the road. Next, you got the Chargers and the Dolphins. Chargers are a very good team in the AFC. And the AFC West, they are, very good. Nick thinks that they're going to beat the Dolphins, which Dolphins are not very good this year, so I can definitely see that. So does Beagle, and honestly, so do I. The Chargers should, if I'm a bet man, I feel like this was like minus 1,000. I feel like, the Chargers really should win this game. Then at 1 o'clock, you got the Rams and the Ravens. Obviously, Lamar Jackson is hurt right now from a hamstring injury. I don't believe he's playing this Sunday. And even if he was, I would probably still pick the Rams anyways, because the Rams are one of the hottest teams in the NFC. And I think they have what it takes to go very far. So I'm going the Rams. Nick is going the Rams. Excuse me. And so is Beagle. Really a lot of the same picks so far. Then you've got the Arizona Cardinals and the Colts. Now, the way I feel about this one is I really do think that I'm going to pick the Colts, but, I really think it's going to be a lot closer than what I think. I think this will be like a field goal game. That's what it's going to come down to. I just feel like we always struggle versus the Cardinals for some reason. And I just really don't, I really don't understand it, ladies and gentlemen. So, wild. But Nick is picking the Colts, and so is Beagle. Then at 1 o'clock, you got the Cowboys and the Panthers. Panthers are always a wild card. I think the Panthers actually did beat the Cowboys last year, and it was wild to see. But Beagle thinks that they can do it back-to-back years. But Nick is going the Cowboys. Me personally, the Cowboys are always a coin flip, but I'm going to go the Cowboys here. Then you got the Patriots and the Saints. The Saints are the worst team in the league this year, so honestly, I probably won't pick them to win any game. Give me the Patriots, and I don't say that very often, but everybody else is going the Patriots as well. So then our last 1 o'clock game is an AFC North showdown. It is the Cleveland Browns playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both have great defenses. I think this will be a low-scoring game. I think under 30 points. This is a, head-scratcher because, the QB situation at the Browns is what's going to cost them the game because they just traded away Joe Flacco to the Bengals. And so with that being said, I think the Steelers do get this win, and they will get this dub. Nick thinks the same thing, and so does Beagle. Then we move on to 405. You've got the Tennessee Titans playing the Raiders. Tennessee Titans, man, they beat the Cardinals last week in a wild fashion, be able to come back. I just don't have any faith in the Titans as well. I think they're the second worst team in the league. So give me the Raiders. I know Nick is going the Raiders, and so is... No, Beagle thinks the Titans can get this win. So, Beagle's got some wild cards this week, and the Titans and the Panthers, you go, boy. Then you have the 49ers and the Bucks. This will be a great game as the Bucks are the hottest team in the NFC right now. They are just going through things. The 49ers is always that team who can, get a dub. Mac Jones is playing pretty well, but I think the Bucks just have what it takes right now. I think they're just firing on all cylinders, and I think they're going to put themselves, honestly, in a pretty good position to get the 1 seed if they keep playing like they're playing. Beagle and I think the Bucks are going to win, but Nick thinks the 49ers are going to win. And, the 49ers, like I said, can prove you wrong, so we'll see what happens. Then you got the Bengals. Oh, sorry, my nose itches. You got the Bengals and the Packers playing at 425. Even with the addition of Joe Flacco, I still think the Packers win this game. It was going to be a blowout before Joe Flacco came, but it's still going to be a pretty big one for the Packers, even with Joe Flacco becoming the new QB. Nick thinks the Packers are going to win, and so does Beagle. So 3 more picks left for Sunday night. You've got the Lions and the Chiefs. This is a great Sunday night matchup. 2 great teams. With the Chiefs, the record isn't really showing it, but they have the experience. They know what they're doing. They can turn it around. But Nick and Beagle are both going to Lions, and I think I've got to keep that trend going. Like, I do think the Lions get this win. It does push the Chiefs a little farther down, and it doesn't help them, but the Chiefs would go to 2-4, which isn't a horrible record. It's not like you can't make the playoffs with that record, but it is definitely going to be, an uphill climb, or battle, as people would say. Then we have 2 games on Monday night, which is very exciting. I like that 2-game Monday night sometimes. First game at 7:15 is the Bills and the Falcons. The Bills should be able to get this win. They did lose to the Patriots last week. They didn't play too well, or up to par, or up to standard. But I think the Bills bounce back on Monday night. They get the win. Nick thinks so, and so does Beagle. Then on Monday night, you've got the Chicago Bears playing the Washington Commanders. I don't know if Jaden McDaniels is going to start, so that's definitely going to, decide how close this game is going to be. But even if he was starting, I think I'm going to pick the Bears just because, yes, it's a road game, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes, you just got to pick, those surprises or those teams that, can just go on the road and, get a win and get a good quality one. And I think the Bears can do that this Monday night. But the only person who agrees with me is Beagle there, as many people probably have assumed that by now. Or when I said Bears versus Commanders, everyone knew who Beagle was picking. But Nick is going to go different. He thinks the Commanders can get this win. We'll see what happens. It is a home game for them. Not too sure what's going to happen. But with that being said, that is week 6. Welcome to it, guys. It's going to be a good one. I'm super excited for it, and we'll see who can go 15-0. Other than that, I will see you guys here again next week. Thank you guys all so much for showing up for another week, and until next time.